What really happens after the age of 80 is something we rarely talk about openly. Society tends to sugarcoat this chapter of life with phrases like graceful aging or golden years, as if pain, loss, and change can be softened with polite language. But behind the curtain of well-meaning smiles and filtered images lies a series of hard truths. These are not just medical facts or statistics. These are emotional truths that people face alone. These truths are real, and they are rarely spoken of in public. The first truth hits you quietly. 1. The body begins to feel foreign. The strength that once let you climb stairs 2 at a time or carry grocery bags without a thought begins to slip away. You bend down to pick something up, and suddenly it feels like a negotiation with your knees. Your hands shake a little more. Your walk slows. Your sleep is lighter. A task that once took minutes now takes effort. You are not helpless, but you are different. And the change is not reversible. It humbles you. It teaches you that the body, once so reliable, is now a quiet teacher of patience. Every morning you wake up, you check in. What hurts today? What still works? The conversation you have with your body becomes part of your daily life. And even if you accept it with grace, it still stings to know what you once had is no longer fully yours. The second truth arrives with silence. 2. Loneliness is real. The older you get, the smaller your world becomes. Friends pass away, family moves on, conversations grow fewer. The phone rings less, visits become occasional. The noise of life slows down until you can hear the silence breathing next to you. And while you may not crave crowds or noise, you start to feel the absence of connection. Loneliness is not just being alone. It is the awareness that others have places to go and things to do, and you do not. You begin to understand that companionship is not just a desire. It is a human need. A neighbor's wave, a child's phone call, a letter in the mail. These become gold. Not because they are grand gestures, but because they break the stillness of days that otherwise feel the same. The third truth comes when you look back. 3. Memories become both a comfort and a torment. Your past becomes more vivid than your present. You remember the smell of your mother's kitchen, the way your lover once looked at you, the sound of your children laughing in the other room. These memories visit you like old friends. They remind you of who you were, but they also remind you of what is gone. You begin to live between 2 worlds, one in the now and one in the then. The challenge is not in remembering, but in not getting lost in those memories. Nostalgia can be both a balm and a wound. It soothes you, and yet it leaves you aching. You smile at a memory, and a tear follows. Because nothing in the present can match the richness of those years that have passed. The fourth truth is perhaps the most painful. 4. People treat you differently, not out of cruelty, but from misunderstanding. You are spoken to louder, as if you are hard of hearing. You are offered help without asking. You are interrupted, ignored, forgotten. The world does not see you as capable. It sees you as old. And in doing so, it often fails to see your wisdom, your history, your strength. There is a quiet grief in being underestimated, in realizing that people look past you. You once walked into a room and commanded attention. Now you walk in and blend into the wallpaper. And even when people mean well, their kindness can feel like pity. That is a bitter taste, because inside you still feel the fire of who you are. You have lived, you have loved, you have lost. You know things only life can teach. But the world rushes on, and you are left holding your truths like invisible trophies no one sees. The fifth truth creeps in slowly. 5. Time becomes both a gift and a burden. You become aware of every passing day, not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply personal one. Time no longer stretches endlessly before you. It shortens. It sharpens. You begin to count the seasons differently, not by holidays or plans, but by how many more you might have left. You savor the small things, the warm cup of tea, the sound of birds outside, the softness of sunlight on your face. But there is also fear, a quiet fear that this could be your last winter, or that the next birthday may not come. You do not live in dread, but you live with awareness, and that awareness changes everything. It makes you grateful, but it also makes you cautious, and sometimes it makes you tired, because living with mortality at your side is a heavy companion to carry. The sixth truth is about the people you love. 6. You start to lose them. Death becomes familiar, not just in theory, but in practice. You attend more funerals than weddings. You see empty chairs at family dinners. You hold onto voicemails just to hear a familiar voice again. You become the keeper of memories for people who are no longer here. You speak their names so they are not forgotten. You keep their stories alive because someone has to. But it is not just death that takes people. Sometimes illness steals them slowly, dementia, stroke, fragile health. You watch the people you love fade in front of you. You hold their hand and try to stay strong. But your heart breaks again and again. And each time you lose someone, you lose a part of yourself, a part of your history. And though you keep going, you carry the weight of those losses in your chest. It is a silent mourning that never quite ends. The seventh truth is the hardest to admit. 7. You begin to question your place in the world. You wonder if you still matter, if your life still has meaning. You used to be busy. You had a role, a title, a purpose. Now you wake up and ask, what do I do today? Who needs me? You begin to measure your value in different ways, not in accomplishments, but in presence. In being there for a grandchild, in giving advice, in sharing a story, in simply existing with grace. But the doubt lingers, because in a world that celebrates speed and youth and productivity, aging feels like becoming invisible. You question your worth. You question your legacy. You wonder if you did enough, if you were enough. And in those moments of reflection, you come face to face with the most human of fears, the fear of being forgotten. And yet, within all these hard truths, there is a strange beauty. Because when everything else is stripped away, what remains is what truly matters. Kindness, presence, connection, truth. Aging past 80 is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about facing reality with courage. It is about living with honesty. You stop chasing and start being. You stop proving and start accepting. There is no more need for masks or roles. There is only truth, your truth. And in that truth, there is power. There are people who do not understand this phase of life. They speak of it as a decline. But for those who live it, it is more than that. It is a distillation, a refinement. You become more yourself, more aware, more present. You see through what does not matter, and you hold close what does. A soft hand, a quiet moment, a kind word. These things become enough, not because you have given up, but because you have finally understood what lasts. Getting older after 80 is not for the faint of heart. It demands strength. It demands humility. It demands a deep reckoning with everything you thought life would be. But it also gives you something precious. It gives you truth. It gives you depth. And if you let it, it gives you peace. No one tells you this. But perhaps they should. Because while the body may grow weaker and the world may grow quieter, the soul has never been more awake. And in that quiet space of truth, you find a kind of freedom that no one else can give you, not even time.